Hi, it's Lori Mercer with firefighterwife.com, and we are well into the holiday season. It's that crazy time, last minute gift wrapping and baking and all those fun things going on. And guess what? My husband is working on Christmas Eve, and I know many of you are in that boat working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or both. And he's working the 26th too. He volunteered for that the day after. So I think this is a little different than maybe what the rest of my coworkers at the corporate office were gearing up for. 2 straight weeks off. I have 2 weeks off, but we have that fire schedule to deal with in between. And no matter how much of a seasoned fire wife you are, I know that you have those thoughts build up inside of you that say, "Oh, I wish he wasn't getting up to go into the office, to the station today. I wish that he was spending this day with us, even though you know this is what you signed up for, right?" When I first met my firefighter, I totally fell in love with his big heart to serve. And this is not many professions get to do that, right? That you get to be hands-on and serving and helping people, changing lives every day, getting somebody to the hospital, just comforting somebody in need, I don't know, maybe knocking a fire down at their house. Teachers, nurses, you guys get to be very hands-on with people and changing lives, and that is so important. In this world, of course it is, but I mean, there's many of us working jobs where we don't get the chance to do that. Yes, I helped somebody with their Excel spreadsheet yesterday, and I did it in a nice way, and they feel good, but it just doesn't have that same power as, I rushed somebody to the hospital and saved their life, or saved their child's life, or, just got them in a more comfortable place. So that's really powerful in that job. And when my husband and I first met, he gave me that talk about, I can't take off weekends all the time, and I can't get off holidays, and I can't just get off whenever you want me to get off of shift, because this is how the schedule works. So back then I was like, oh, I didn't care as much. This is really cool that he does this, and it's so meaningful. But you get adjusted to it, and sometimes you start throwing a little pity party for yourself because you want him here and you want him with your family and you want to enjoy those times together. So I always have to go back and remind myself and bring perspective, especially at the holidays, of why it's so important to be okay with him going into the station. And it's the reason is this, that there's tragedies every day. There's car accidents, there's houses that burn down, there's people that have chest pain. But when that happens on Christmas, that's like a memory that doesn't go away so easily. Remember that Christmas that grandma had the stroke and we had to call the medics. Remember the Christmas that we had the kitchen fire. Remember the Christmas that grandpa had a heart attack and died. That memory stays every year at Christmas, and it's just a little more painful. So, my husband couldn't be here to do this video with me. He really wanted to, but we talked about it a lot. And he was even saying from the firefighter's perspective that it's those calls on Christmas Day that especially stick with them. The close calls, friends of his that are firefighters who have been, trapped under a beam on Christmas Day, or, just caught in a place inside a house fire where you're like, ooh, starting to get uncomfortable and feeling, a little bit like your life is more on the line than usual. Those are the things that stick with you, Christmas Day incidents. So they're even feeling it from their side. So bringing that perspective back really helps me to not have a little pity party for why we're not having Christmas the same way we did last year, why it's different every year, and why it's hard for us to get in a groove with traditions on the day of the party, and why I'm going to church by myself on Christmas Eve, and lots of other dads will be there that don't normally go to church, but I'm going to be there. Somebody's probably going to think I'm that poor divorced single mom with 4 kids running all over the place. Those are some of the thoughts that go through my head. So it just helps me to bring back perspective of when things happen on Christmas Day, when tragedies happen on Christmas Day, it's extra worse. And my family is so blessed to have our health, to have our home, to have the paycheck coming in because he's at work, so that we can have a family Christmas. And that's what matters most. Time is not in our hands. We can't decide when grandma's going to have a stroke, or when he has to work, or how this is all going to line up. So take a deep breath and we head into the holidays, and this is what this holiday season is going to look. We're going to do Santa this year. Here's when we're going to do our family celebrations this year, because that's how it's lining up with their work schedules. So I just encourage you all, if you're struggling with that thought, to have that perspective. And I also want to say that, there's tragedies every day, and I know that's going to happen, but can we just ask that this Christmas season that there's less tragedy, that there's less fire trucks running out of the station to emergencies, that families are having peaceful and safe and healthy celebrations, and that not because I want my firefighter to rest more, but because I want those families to have safe and healthy and fun and peaceful holidays, and those kind of Christmas memories together, not the tragic Christmas memories. So Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all the firefighters who are working over the holidays. Thank you for all your service, and God bless.